author Brian K. Morris comes an epic tale of armor forged by a god, a hero forged by courage, and an ancient menace poised to re-emerge and threaten our world. Volcana, Rebirth of the Champion, is available on Amazon.com. Get your copy today.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Welcome to Nevermind the Furthermore, your morning dose of creative conversation and coffee with your host, Brian K. Morris, independent publisher, freelance hybrid author, award-winning playwright, Facebook famous YouTuber, and former mortician's assistant. Get ready to start your day off right.
And good morning, everyone. How the heck are you? Welcome to the Monday. Oh, it's May 24th, 2021 edition of Nevermind the Furthermore with your host, Brian K. Morris. And you can hear lawn work happening outside. I hope we can get past it. At least I hope you can't hear much of it. Anyway, folks, hopefully you're having a great start to your week so far. And just a quick programming announcement. Wednesday morning, there will be no Nevermind the Furthermore because I have jury duty that day. We watch this space. Watch the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. What a clever segue, Brian. Be sure to subscribe to the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page or the Rising Tide Publications page or Kathy Jackson's books because they're hosting us. But anyway, we're part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and we'll let you know whether there will be a Friday show or not. We will know more tomorrow and after Wednesday, okay? Anyway, check out the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. We've got all kinds of great entertainment and information for you. You'll learn stuff accidentally. Don't tell anyone or no one will tune in. Anyway, we have shows 7 days a week, and tomorrow night we have Morgan Connick on Clever Tile Pending. She is a supernatural romance author, and she's got all kinds of cool things going, including a brand new book. We'll talk to her about what it's like to release a brand new publication and other things that are going on in her life. We had her on a few weeks ago, and she was spectacular. We promised we'd have her back again. So anyway, please take a screenshot of this and check the schedule. And we've got a couple more shows that may be coming down the pike. So keep on watching and listening to us because we are growing. We are. And also, thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly, many of whom you see on this page have their own Patreon pages. So give them a check out too. But we'd love it if you went to www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris, and I'll show you what your money is going to, because you get to see my my weekly blog. Every blog deserves the name. Also, we are releasing first draft chapters of our new book, The Terrors. That's going to have an incredible Jeffrey Hayes cover in front of it. But please check out what we will offer you in support of your supporting us. Anyway, that's www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris, and we appreciate you looking at it. And speaking of Jeffrey Hayes, thank you to Jeffrey for sponsoring this episode through Plasma Fire Graphics. PlasmaFireGraphics.com, when the look of your book matters to you, because it matters to your readers. So check out what all the great work he does, such as my brand new books, Snow Ambition, An Abraham Snow adventure by myself. It is 99 cents right now on Amazon.com, part of the Snow Shorts series. So get into our shorts and get Snow Ambition. You'll like it. If you like two-fisted drama, crime drama, this is the book for you. Anyway, hope you're all doing well this morning. Let's hit your comments, shall we? Yes, we shall, because I have the controls. And good morning, Teresa Dunn at 918 from YouTube. Good morning, Brian and Never. And furthermore, have a great day. And furthermore, we're going to have a good day. Teresa, if you do first. Mwah, glad to have you here this morning. And the Ninja Gecko, as always, sir, a pleasure to have you here. And Joe Dog McHale, greetings from mobile phone land. Well, I'm glad you were able to get a signal out. Glad to see you here, as always, my friend. And Carl Westman, have to vacuum Donna's office, so I will be back. Okay, you're a good husband, Carl. You really are. And I'm looking forward to seeing Carl and Donna, Carlene, and T.L. Shively, Michaela Jade, I think Amy Hale's going to be there. Anyway, we will be at the Indie Author Book Expo this coming Saturday from 9 to 5. And let me get the address for y'all. It's at 201 Southwest Jefferson Avenue in Peoria, Illinois. Please come see us. I will have new publications. Possible I will have the first issue of Pulp Reality, possibly the second. Let's hope on the mails cooperating. And so please come check us out. We would love to see you there. We are going to have a party. And at 3 p.m., I think it's Eastern time, we are going to be broadcasting live from the floor of the Peoria Convention Center. We will be on Pops Van Zant's CromCon 14 this weekend. So please check us out. If you can't see us in person, which you should make every effort to do, please come and watch us on CromCon. We promise to be entertaining and fascinating. And Skunk Rocker, good morning, Nevermorian. Today's Weird Random Fact is brought to you by Stupid O'Clock every Thursday at 9 p.m. Saturdays are optional, apparently. I looked for you guys, and I don't think I saw you. But anyway, check them out. They're part of the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network, and Skunk Rocker's a vital part of that show. Remember, you can't look up and down in the original Doom because it's easier for the older PCs to render pixels in a straight line. Oh, now that's interesting. I never knew. Now that's something that's useful to know. And there she is, our darling Michaela Jade. Wow, hello everyone. I'm so excited. Saturday can't get here quick enough. The IABE will be so much fun. I fully agree. Just to have our crew in there, cutting up and having fun. I am so ready for this to happen. And don't forget, folks, if you do come see us, we are, at least our corner of the world is going to take every precaution to make sure you are safe as well as ourselves. So please come see us this Saturday at the Peoria Civic Center, 201 Southwest Jefferson Avenue in Peoria, Illinois. That's the Indie Book Expo. Look for their page on Facebook or contact myself or Michaela or Carl or Donna or TL or any of us, and we might know what's going on. And if not, we can find out. And Ted Davies Archer, good morning to you, my friend. Glad to see you. Oh, you brought the covfefe. God bless you, young man. Please check it out. Please check out Ted's show Friday night, Drink of the Davies. He's got a brand new drink, the Dumpster Fire, of which you all, my audience knows well, because we present you one 3 days a week, right? Please check it out. And he's got others. Ted, do you have other shows? Why, of course he does. Be sure to check out TED Talks Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Creator Luke Stone will be talking with Ted about campaigns and his creative journey. Plus, he's got a brand new book right now that's trying to get funded on Indiegogo. This close last time I looked, last night. And that is Hybrids, the Sons of Gods, his great comic series number 7. I have pledged to it, and I hope you will too. He is this close to getting that thing fully funded. And good morning from the Skunk Rocker, and Ted from Teresa and Keisha Acuff. Hello, beautiful people. Mwah, Keisha, I hope we will see you this coming Saturday. And I am going to get to your video, I promise. This weekend was a bit hectic. And from the desk of a small press publisher, 10 p.m. every Saturday night. Always a great interview with this guy. And also check out out of Amazonia. And I'm on your mailing list now, too, dude. I can't wait to read that book you got for it. And he starts by mocking me with his laughter. Thank you so much, Joe. This is Brian's I Want a Decent Pair of Pants Brainiac thumbnail for the video. For those who don't get reference, look up Cartoon Network's Legion of Doom commercial and pants. Yeah, and actually, that is from the Metropolis Celebration. We used to have an opening skit. And for years, I was kind of the showrunner on that thing. And when I didn't write it, and I wrote a couple of them myself. And in one, I was Brainiac, and it was the first time ever I got to shave my head completely. It was before I adopted the sideburns. But I, shaved my whole head and painted the whole damn thing and my hands green. That was a nightmare. It's green paint everywhere for weeks. Anyway, it was a good time, and it was a fun show to do. But yeah, that's the one I've done. I was Perry White in several of those. I played a volunteer for the celebration one year, and people kept asking me where things were, and I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know. Because I didn't. But it was always a lot of fun. And I found that picture last night and it brought back some good memories. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And good morning to you, my friend. And hey there, friends and foes. John B. Pike, always a pleasure. Good to see you, sir. Saw your TikTok thing. That when you sent me, I finally watched it. That was excellent, John. That was seriously excellent. And Merry Christmas, everyone. Sorry I'm late. Grant Lanker. Hey, happy Saints Within Day to you, my friend. Hope you are doing well. How'd your show go this weekend? And I really wish I could be at IAB. John, I wish we could have you there, dude. We are going to have fun. We are going to misbehave massively, and we may be in need of an adult, and you come as close as anyone's going to come. And John's saying, don't you insult me like that. JohnBipica.com. Check out all this stuff this amazing man does. Also, check out his brand new book on Amazon, Night Reich, as well as Saturday mornings. Start your weekend off right with Back of the Cereal Box at 9 a.m. Eastern. It's good stuff, and it hasn't started, Grant. Yes, it has. Don't give fake news like that. And I know I meant what I said as a joke, but maybe he's looking for a pair of pants. He's a bit late. No, Joe, I'm not wearing pants. See, I take that time and I pass the savings on to you. So John Pica says Brian's about to mention it. So here it is, johnpica.com. Ha ha, beat you to it. And Solomon Grundy wants pants too. Oh, and I want a pony. Let's see who gets theirs first. And for this was Small Press Publisher, exactly, Grant and Deb. I caught up with the comments already. Three Rivers Comic-Con was great. About halfway between my greatest dreams and worst fears. Let's hear about both. What were you expecting? You see, a lot of people, I suspect. Now, I know most of the people that are commenting here have done shows, and you know the highs and lows. Grant, what were you expecting, and what happened that you're like, I'm never doing this again? And Nicholas Tockern has joined us from YouTube saying, good morning, Nevermorians. Hope your week is looking bright. Dude, glad to have you here, as always. And check out the Historical Fencing Guild. I got through the Friday night edition and loved it as always. So anyway, great show, part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. It's a fun show, and we're caught up with the comments, folks. I'm having a sleepy Monday. I'm hoping the same isn't same isn't true for you guys. Hope you're excited. And that's an interesting analogy, Grant. Well, the thing is, I don't know that Grant's done as many shows as either you or I, and I think I've become slightly inured to at least the bad aspects of them. Let's talk about it. Let's give some people something to look forward to. And from the desk of the Small Press Publisher, Nick. Yeah. Anyway, no, I look forward to hearing which I hope you'll contribute, Grant. I would love to hear what you were expecting and what you were the grip of cruel reality around your throat. But anyway, we are caught up. And like I said, I've got jury duty on Wednesday. So unless Joe, Ryan, or Carl want to take the Wednesday shift, we're going to take the morning off, and you get a morning free of us too. So anyway, but reality sometimes has to interfere with some of what we do. That's why I would love it for StreamYard to be able to, we could be able to set up a video and then upload it and then have it shoot out on StreamYard. That would be something. But they've got so many other great things coming down the pike that I'm looking forward to a lot of it. So, and let's see, back in the cereal box, we are interested to hear about what happened, Grant, and Johnny could do Wednesday. We could talk. And Grant Lankard says, I definitely do it again. Angie had to work Sunday, and it made me realize how much having a girl in the booth helped. Now, was she there for the necessary sex appeal or just for the emotional and sales support? Because I know it's a lot more fun when I have someone helping, whether it's Cookie or someone else. I years ago, I used to do back issue comic book sales, and I was set up actually at Northwoods Mall as a vendor for one show in Peoria. And I brought someone with me who actually was more of a detriment than he was a help. So I fired him that night. I said, I'll do it tomorrow by myself. It's easier than that. And you can do that on StreamYard, Brian. Set up a show. Okay, I'm going to have to look into that. John. We could have like a greatest hits or something. But anyway, Grant Lankard met a cool horror writer who could make a good future contributor. His name was Sean, and he works for Full Moon Comics. Oh, very cool. I've heard of Full Moon Comics. That's great. And Michaela Jane said, Andy will be at the after party on Saturday. He's the chef and the bouncer. It means I got to behave. Well, damn it. The pool will be open, so I'm taking pictures. You don't want me in the pool. Anyway, booth babes are super important. Well, that's true. John is his own booth babe because he's pretty. He's a pretty man. Now, I know a lot of people who have done very well having, attractive women, booth babes, if you will. And Cookie it doesn't hurt, But no, she's fun, and she interacts well with the public. She's a lot of fun. But just having somebody there as emotional support, someone to talk to, someone to keep you on the straight and narrow, that's pretty useful. Someone to tell you not to buy Funko Pops, now that you can leave at home. But anyway, Grant Lankard, and good morning, Eric S. Hawkins. Good to see you, sir. And as things stand now, we are full steam ahead for this Thursday's Comic Book Spectrum every Thursday at 7 p.m. Please tune in. We've been getting a lot of good reviews on that show, and I think it's because of Eric and Clyde Hall and Brian Rodman. So it's a good show. And Grant Lankard says, Angie was there to look cute and be nice. One thing we have to work on is that she can get too involved with conversations with people who aren't going to buy anything. That is something I've had to become aware of in myself, because as you know, so I'm a little chatty Cathy myself. But once you're aware of that, and I figure if you don't have anyone there, it's okay to get into a conversation with somebody, and it can help the time pass. But if it's somebody that's just going to drain your energy, because some people do go to shows and they'll actually pay to get in and find somebody who doesn't like blow them off. If you're halfway friendly, you've got someone who will stay at your booth for a long time, chat. And the time I notice that they've overstayed their welcome is when they start chatting with people who come to the booth. You have to remember that, yes, you're there to have a good time. Yes, you're there to engage with your audience, but at the same time, you're there to sell stuff, because that's paying for you being there. It's paying for you to make more of what you love to do. And I've had to, you have to be unafraid to tell people, okay, can you stand off to one side here? I need to talk to somebody. Or, just what I do is hold my finger, excuse me, I got to talk to somebody. And, and they'll, hopefully they'll understand. I had a friend one time who I only saw him like once. Once I moved to Indiana, I only saw him like once a year at a show. And he came and he saw it, and we started talking, but I was trying to wait on other customers, and he would actually interrupt my conversation with them to try to sell them, so inform them about my books, because he wanted to talk about comics. And I'm like, hold on, dude. And he actively got in the way. I try to make eye contact with people as they walk by and say hello and smile. Well, when he'd see somebody, he'd stand between me and them. And then it got to the point where I would make a sale, and he would start, doing things. Well, I could say something nasty, but I won't. And finally, when I concluded the sale, I said, listen, I want you to get the hell out of here. I'm throwing you out. And if you won't go out on your own, I will take you out of here, because I'm here to make, sales. This is my job. Just because you don't recognize it as a regular 9 to 5, that's not on me. That's on you. So either you stand on one side, and when I'm talking to somebody else, you shut up, or you can leave. And he left, and that's fine with me. So anyway, that's the lesson for this morning. But I'm glad you had Angie there. I'm glad she was able to share the experience with you. Hey, good morning, Eric. Good to see you. And then Nicholas Tockert, more coffee. Said this is nearly the last week of the funding of Luke Stone's Hybrids issue number 7, The Killing Fields number 2. So please support the link below. Okay, now I'm ready. Yes, let's get Nick funded here. Seriously, yeah, leave a Nick. Nick, also be sure to post something in Facebook too, so we can see the link. Okay. And good morning to Christian Illusionist Jake Lindsay. Did you see a huge fight at Kings Island last night? 45 teams were punching each other in front of little kids. They had to close early. No, I didn't. That is a shame. And I hope they took those hooligans in. I really do. I'd like to see them have some desk time or some jail time. And booth babes aren't welcome at all shows, though. No, that's true. I have been to some shows. It depends on the attire of the booth babe. I've found at some. I don't think they're as useful at book shows as they are at, say, a comic book show. And this is going to sound terrible, but I don't think we, when we do strictly like a book, like prose books, generally it's not as insecure a crowd as a lot of comic fans are. And some comic fans are there to ogle the girls. You see them all the time. They're following them with the camera, but the camera's aimed at somebody's butt as they're following them. Or they just stand there and just at the girls at the booth, depending on how they're dressed and all. And in fact, I know of one lady from the 90s who I think that's what forced her out finally. She put out a decent comic. It was kind of sexually oriented. And it was a superheroine comic, well done. And she was a good writer, but she started portraying herself as, I'm the swinger. I do this, I do that. I'll do it with him. I'll do it with her. And I don't think she was really like that from my conversations with her, but she was just trying to sell her books to the horny guy living in mom's basement who collected comics. Unfortunately, that's what she got at shows, was the horny guy living in a basement. And she wore the costume of her character, and guys would, be touching her, grabbing her, the usual stuff that hopefully 20 years later, 20, 30 years later, were a little more beyond. Not completely, but a little bit. And she started changing her branding, but her fans weren't having it. Why aren't you showing your breasts more? Why aren't you writing about all the people you're sleeping with? And I talked to her one time at the show, and she was quite frustrated with this, and she dropped out of the industry. So yeah, and also some booth babes, can be a little ill-behaved, and that's our job, Joe, I think, to be ill-behaved. Grant Lanker says the guy who suggested that we do this convention was being passive-aggressive because he was pissed that we were making more money than he was. Yeah, that's one thing you're going to find. You're going to be able to weed out promoters, and if they treat you like that, don't go back. There are other shows, and if he doesn't like, or just go back, and if he doesn't like it, that's his problem. Maybe it's the way he's presenting himself. Maybe it's his product. Or maybe you just struck lightning, and that's fine. Lightning in a jar. But the thing is, I did it, again, this is back in my comic book retail days. I did a show in Terre Haute that was moderately profitable. It was worth going back to. But it was clear after a while he was running it just for him. Because, like, the second time there, he declares in the room, none of you can sell anything until I've gone through all your books. And we're like, no, and like, this was about 5 minutes before the door was supposed to open. And we're all like, well, if you get over here and look, that's fine. But he, he was always demanding, I want first pick of your books. And if you've got so-and-so, you're to sell them to me. And he just got, so dictatorial that I just finally just said, screw it. I'm not going back. And, we would email, and he was like, well, why weren't you at my last show? And I'm like, I'm not putting up with you. That's why. So yeah, you don't need that sort of thing, Grant. And as you grow and rise, you will find that you will attract better shows. I'm very blessed to have the shows I have now. Ted Davies Artistry, Spoon Boy, Ice Boy, Booth Babe, duties is needed. Ted's resume. Yeah, I hear you. Whatever makes the sale, brother. I hear you too completely. Nicholas Stocker says, I always try to bring my wife. Plus, at least at Arcticon, we had space with Joe and Trilliana Bachman. Oh, that would be a hoot. Joe's great. I love Joe. I haven't talked to Trilliana much, but hopefully we'll get that opportunity again as things start to open up. And back in the Zero Box, Ted, you're hired. There we go. And Ted does have the legs for that skimpy dress that you'll have him wearing, so it's okay. Scott Crocker says, I do want to apologize publicly to the cast of Stupid O'Clock real quick. My joke was a reference to the fact that I've been able to show up to the Saturday shows because of wrestling. And we'll continue that when we get to it because we just got another info dump. And good morning to the Ninja Genko. Good to see you, my friend. And good morning to Amy Hale. Mwah. See you Saturday. She will be there. Please pick up her brand new book, Neurosis. That's a good read. And back in the cereal box, luckily our show is built in booth babes. Have you seen those gorgeous co-hosts? Oh, heck yes, I have. You know, John, we try not to think about all the people watching your great shows who are watching it with the sound off, especially with you. Anyway, Scott Cracker says, and I'm so tired. I totally forgot that last Saturday show was shortened because of some personal stuff going on with some of the cast. Oh no! Well, I hope it's nothing bad. I hope everything's okay. The Ninja Genko, when you smile, you can bring out people's true emotion. There we go. That always works. Anyway, with your smile, I understand. The Ninja Genko. It works either way. Yeah, sometimes smiles. Are more than just frowns turned upside down. And Scott Crocker says, I apologize sincerely and hope you all can forgive me for that because I didn't mean for it to sound like y'all's personal lives don't matter because they do. Well, they do. They do, Skunk. And the thing is, you know, like Wednesday, we won't be on live. I won't be on live. Because I've got jury duty. That has to take precedence. And I can't tell I know right now what will happen if I tell a judge, well, I've got this internet show and I've got 503 people that are relying on me for their entertainment. I may be in jail on Thursday morning. Anyway, Grant Laker says, I love people watching at Comic-Con. So many interesting people. Seemingly mismatched couples are my favorite. Yeah. Like, she's awesome. What's she doing with him sort of thing. Or the ones that get me are he is going nuts about where he's at. She couldn't care less. She could not care less. But yeah, comic shows are a great place to people watch. Any sort, book shows are that way in a different level. And I love flea markets? Oh my God. You see people that, how do they let you out without an adult sort of thing? So anyway, Anthony Bouveau. Hey, Brian, how are you? Hope all is well. Anthony, it is good to see you, my friend. Hope your morning's going well. Glad to have you here, sir. Check out his books on Amazon because he's awesome. And Scott Crocker honestly was not trying to make light of your situation, was trying to make fun of mine. No, dude, all is well, my friend. And you know, we all know that you got to, sometimes things interfere with what we like to do when we are confronted with things we must do. So it's all good. It's all good, my friend. It's all good. And Eric Hawkins says, 47 hours left for the Zombieful World of Oz #3. Check that out. He is, in fact, I will check it out right now. I'm going to pretend like I'm looking at my show here. I'm going to refresh that and go back here while it's happening. This is not the newest and most efficient computer ever. One of the things I want to do once I get up to 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel, so please, all you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. I want to get a new computer. I want to get more like a gaming computer so I can like do a green screen, vary up my backgrounds, actually be able to put up graphics, preload graphics and put them up, which I can do already, but I've just got some other stuff planned. I think most of us do this when you get on, broadcasting and you have this vision of how you'd love your show to go. And then there's the cruel, the cruel reality of your technical abilities. So anyway, please check that out. Zombieful World of Oz has blown past its $1,200 goal and is currently 47 hours to go, 160 backers, and $5,800 and $4. Please check it out. That is a wonderful comic book. I love that book dearly. And not just because Eric is an incredible guy and he's incredibly talented. It's a good book. And let's check on Cindy Kepps. We'll refresh that while we're talking. And Nick Tockert says, my booth problem, in quotes, is because would run big stompy robots, and it is a kid-friendly game. I ended up being a free babysitting service. Yeah. And that's why one thing when I started doing shows, they all said, hand out candy. Hand out candy. People will love you. Yeah. And you put the little sign out there saying, take one. And people come by and they take one handful. And I had people just coming up and I said, well, can I, I'm a writer. And they're like, oh, I don't care. I just came here for the candy, and the thing is, then the next time you come by, and I did like a few shows and I'm like, screw this. I'm not here to feed these people. So I do candy sometimes at certain shows, but not most comic book shows. And I'd get people that were like, well, you brought candy last time. Why didn't you bring candy for me? And I'm like, because I'm not paying to turn you into a diabetic. That's why. In fact, at most comic shows, I don't even put out my business cards. I will gladly hand them to people if they show any interest, but I don't leave them there because a lot of people, I don't see this at book shows so much. And other types of shows, but at comic book shows, I have people come by and grab whatever is free. I've had people actually come up and say, what do you have that's free? And I tell them nothing, just advice. And I've had people say, well, I just want your card. I'm not going to call you. I don't want to buy anything. I just want your card. And I'm like, nope. Because you pay for these things. And I'm not that tight or anything, but it's just, I resent the fact that they're treating the show like a scavenger hunt. And I've got stuff from years and years ago that, I look at it and it kind of drove it home. I've got cards I've picked up. I never, followed up on buying anything. Just got them to have them. So anyway, Christian Illusionist Jake Lindsay said it lasted 20 minutes. It was so big of a brawl, state police had to break it up. I don't doubt it. That's terrible. That sort of thing ruins the fun for everybody. Grant Lankert says there were a couple of times people came up to my booth and I leaned over to Angie and said, I have no bleeping idea what that guy was talking about. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. Or what's even more terrifying is sometimes you do know what they're talking about and it will scare you. I've told more than once. I was at a show with a guy who looked at my books and said, you into conspiracy theories? And I said, yeah, I study them. It's kind of good springboards for stories. And he told me then, I call Art Bell every night to make sure he gets them right. I'm like, okay, cool. So what can you do, folks? You don't want them to go nuts on you. But no, yeah, you will get some memorable people, Grant, and that will probably wind up in a story sometime. And 14 cop cars were in the parking lot after they closed. I don't blame them because sometimes that stuff is gang activity related, Jake, and they got to follow up on that. And here he is from Plasma Fire Graphics, Jeffrey Hayes. Good to see you, brother. Good morning, Nevermorian. Is finishing up a cover project and beginning a new one that always feels nice. This cover is really out there. Sci-fi. I can't wait to dig into the details. Make it a great Monday. That we will do, my friend. Thank you. And thank you again for the James Marsters video. That was so cool of you, Jeffrey, for the Stormgate Press people involved with Pulp Reality #1, Jeffrey got James Marsters. Yeah, that James Marsters from Buffy, from Torchwood, from Runaways, from many of your favorite shows to give us like a little attaboy. And that was, oh my gosh, I showed that to Cookie and she's like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And then to find out Brian Rod, I interviewed James Marsters at the Superman celebration several years ago. He was an amazing guest. And I always ask him on the way, there is a video that I posted in one of the links for Stormgate Press with the interview. And as we're going up the steps, see, it was one of those things where because he had been signing autographs, he was something like an hour and a half behind and we had to make up time. So part of what I was going to get him for a full hour, I did not get him for a full hour. But he he was perfectly understanding. And I'm like, I'm sorry you have to get rushed through this. And he's like, no, I'm looking forward to this. We're going to have fun, you and me. And I said, now, I always ask, especially celebrities, is there anything you do and do not want me to talk about? And he said, you ask me anything. I look forward to the challenge. I said, okay, fine. So I hit him with my big question. Given that he was on Torchwood and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, I asked him initially who was the better kisser, Sarah Michelle Gellar or John Barrowman. And in light of John Barrowman's problems these days, anyway, Jeffrey, good to see you here. And remember, check out plasmafiregraphics.com when the look of your book matters to you. And thank you again for your ongoing support of this show, brother. It is good to see. And I love seeing the glorious results of your work. You are an amazingly talented guy. And oh, look, Brian got that single dislike, a sad, single, lonely dislike. Yeah, there's someone that thinks they're doing me bad by putting out there. You know what? Who cares? That is, and it is kind of pathetic that they sometimes come to the show and they put that in there before anyone even gets here. It's like, this is all you've got to do is hate on me. And all I can say is if a man is judged by his enemies, you're going to have to work harder. What a goof. Anyway, that's okay. We know who it is, and we kind of, that person's kind of pathetic anyway. And Brian Rahman, good morning, my fellow Brian and Nevermorians. We got all the Memoirs of an Angel #7 comic shipped out today. Good on you, man. Had a fun time. Had a fun time with friends as we completed fulfillment this weekend. I'm so excited for our backers to read this issue. It's definitely a payoff issue and sets up something much bigger. I agree. That was a great, great comic. And good for you for getting that out. I know you had plenty of people to make happy with that, and it looked like you guys were having fun. I saw your pictures, and good for you. Fulfillment, folks, this isn't just a cash grab. You can tell who's really doing this as a cash grab when it takes, like, what, Eric, 2.5, 3 years to get your comic out because you're busy sucking up to Walmart or, I didn't feel like doing it this weekend because I wanted to play games, so I didn't do fulfillment. No, you have people like Brian. You have people like Eric. Luke Stone. The minute, most of these guys have all your stuff ready by the time they get the comics printed. And so it's just a matter of getting everything out, assembled, stamped, sealed into the mail. It's all about fulfillment, and not just fulfillment of a great product, but fulfillment in getting it to the customer. And good for you, Brian. Good for you. Grant Lanker says, one time I was at a Comic-Con and comment dump. Good, we're getting comments. Thank you. One time, Grant Lanker was at a comic shop, or Comic-Con rather, and there was a girl dressed like Wonder Woman. I ended up just sitting and watching because I found the nerds interacting with her so fascinating. Oh my God, yes. Kind of like a year ago when somebody at Walmart would bring out a pallet of toilet paper, right? They just wanted to touch it. They wanted to be with it. It is one of those things. It also raises your consciousness too, where you're thinking, my God, look at those guys trying to paw that poor model or a cosplayer. I hope I'm not like that. So yeah, I get that totally. And let's see, Christian Illusionist, if I'm correct, they were 12, 14-year-olds that were fighting. The parents were running with their kids in panic. And I might be wrong, but the news said they might have had guns possibly. Then they've got to take those kids in. And in some states, those kids will, if they have guns on them, they will be tried as adults. They've just ruined their lives. Back in the cereal box, and those gorgeous co-hosts are doing the show in their pajamas. Well, there you go. But they are not fully dressed unless they're wearing a smile. But anyway... You can, and there's probably some people watching. There might be people watching me right now doing the same thing. It's like you could be wearing a raincoat and Kevlar, and it won't matter. Anyway, Nicholas Stockard. So if only some well-versed showman would offer, say, a ranked list of reliable shows. I can give you a few. The thing is, most of the ones I'm doing this year, about 99% of them I have done already. So that's why I wholly support like the Indie Author Book Expo this coming Saturday from 9 to 5 at the Peoria Civic Center at 201 Southwest Jefferson Street in Peoria, Illinois. Jen Thompson runs a good show. And we don't have a show right now in June. I'm going to be attending one, but only as a customer. and that's a Pulp Fiction convention in Westlake, Ohio, up by Cleveland. But the Imaginarium is always great. I think Imaginarium still has some tables open. Heroes for Kids Con still has some tables open in Perryville, Missouri. That is always a fun show. And let's see. And then I've got a show in Murfreesboro, but that's a comic book shop. So anyway, here we go. And Amy, save me a copy. Yeah, ditto, Amy, ditto. So anyway, Nick, we will get that list together. In fact, if you subscribe to my newsletter every month at risingtide.pub, you will see a list of reliable shows that I will be at. So anyway, I need to find a hot cosplayer to dress up as my Dorothy. Oh, here we go. I was worried as I started to read. I thought, oh my God, if he says I want somebody to dress up as my Toto. Oh dear. Anyway, oh man, we just had an idea. Maybe our cast needs to do our cons in the pajamas too. Why not, dude? Why not? It's simple enough. You can change in the restroom. That's what all the cosplayers do. When I do BoilerCon here in or over actually across the river in West Lafayette, you can go in any hour of the day, at least in the men's room, and there'll be half a dozen guys adjusting armor, helping each other dress. That could be just a bathhouse thing for all I know. But anyway, you see all these guys in there, primping and everything. It's kind of funny. Grant Langert says, a couple of Angie's friends offered to come in and sit in my booth in the future. I'm so super curious to see how they react to these nerds. Well, the one thing, Grant, be sure that they know that they're there to support you, and, there's little things like your display is nice and open, but, Cookie, for a while, I had to train her to, don't hide, you're beautiful. Come out and, and engage with me. And she's gotten so good at it. She's better at it than I am, actually. But I see so many people just, kind of like with their heads down, or like at book shows, it terrifies me. I was at a comic book show and everyone was sitting there reading, too many comic book people and book people were there reading while the customers were there. And I'm like, you're doing nothing to engage me, and the few that did look up looked at me like they were terrified. Well, me, I can understand it, but I see them looking up at people like, don't talk to me, sort of thing. So, I'm sure you and Angie were fantastic, Grant. I'd love to watch you guys. And Brian Rodman says, this week we launched the Nebulizer #1 on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. The Nebulizer is about a chronic asthmatic and his feisty AI-controlled nebulizer suit as they fight through a post-apocalyptic world filled with allergen mutants. It ain't easy being wheezy. Head to that address there and get notified at launch. Yes, check it out. You can get an advanced look at the Kickstarter campaign, the glorious art that Brian's doing. You can tell he's wanted to do this for quite some time, and he's thought it out. Brilliant artwork, and I love the concept. Plus, you can ring a little bell. You can click a little notification thing so that when it launches, you'll get an email reminding you to support this man, and it'll get him off to a great start. Michaela J., the heat out here today is icky. I can't put the phone in my bra, so into the dark recesses of my pocket you go. Oh, shut up, Christian. Anyway, we'll try to make your placement worth your time, sweet Michaela. And back in the cereal box, Eric, don't hire a cosplayer, just hire a model. Cosplayers are too much trouble. A number of them are. And there was a TV show on Sci-Fi. I only caught the first season, but it was like the superheroes of cosplay or something like that. But anyway, and unfortunately, some people got it was very staged, and you could tell. Because there were some people in there that I don't know them I don't know any of them personally, but a couple of people in there got what they call in the industry the bitch edit, which was they were encouraged to act very badly. Heroes of Cosplay, I think it was. But anyway, it was totally put on. It was totally staged, and I think it did more harm to the hobby than good. I ran into several people who watched that show, and you'd see some girl, I talked to several girls, and I do say girls because a lot of them were like high school age, and they were like, well, I want to be a professional cosplayer, and all I have to do is just show people my breasts every now and then. And I'm like, no, that's not the right thing. Then your career's only as good as your Hooters are, and gravity is not your friend. But it's like, it was just sad to see people thinking, "Oh, I'm going to go down to Spirit Halloween and get a slave girl Leia outfit, and soon I will be able to buy a Maserati," sort of thing. I'm like, no, you won't, because a lot of those people built up before that show, which is how they got hired. And anyway, I think they did more harm to the hobby than good. Michaela, I'm here for a booth. I'm for hire for a booth babe when I'm not doing my own shows. Well, we will keep that in mind, sweetheart. We will keep that in mind. From Decimal Small Press Publisher, people watching is a double-edged sword. It makes you wonder if people watching your actions in the same vein that you were watching others. I don't doubt it. I just hope I'm as entertaining as they are. And doing well, Brian, and great to hear that you are as well. And thank you, sir. Glad to hear that, Anthony Bavo. Oh man, it's good to see you, man. I really hope your week goes well. And back to the cereal box, we are looking for space to build a set, but that would mean the hosts have to leave the house in the morning. Oh man, don't do that. No, anything but that. Although I'm looking at redoing my basement this summer. And one of the things is if I get enough shelving put up and get those boxes out of there, I am going to dedicate a corner to broadcasting. In fact, I may turn part of my comic room into that. So we'll see what happens. And the sad part is the police said there was no motivation in the brawl. They have no idea why they were fighting. They'll find out, Jake. They'll come out soon. And Nick Talker said, in the annuals of FB What TFery, I cannot get on Facebook because you are streaming live. Fun times. Yeah, I cannot get on via Facebook because you are streaming live. I don't. Well, I actually, Nick, I don't broadcast on my own channel anymore because half the time it wasn't showing up StreamYard. And every week at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, on Sunday nights, the two guys who created StreamYard, who are damnably young, talk about stuff that's coming down the pike and things that you can look forward to. And they take suggestions as to what they can incorporate into StreamYard, which I find refreshing. There was somebody last night that mentioned I can't get on air with Facebook. I'm not seeing stuff on Facebook. So we are grateful to the people who we have. And frankly, I'm looking now. Let me look here. The vast majority of comments are YouTube right now. So there's a hint. I don't want to abandon Facebook at all, but Facebook they're doing something that is not playing well with StreamYard, and I don't know what it is. I have made sure that the Rising Tide Publications page and the Rising Tide Broadcast Network page are groovy, but my own personal page, it's hit or miss whether I would see the comments, and people would be like, well, you're not commenting on my stuff. What did I do wrong? And it's like, you did nothing wrong except be on Facebook. That's why you got to go on YouTube. One major downfall, says from the desk of a small press publisher, one major downfall of having booth babes, especially if they are in cosplay, being security for when you have unsavory people making unwanted advancement. This is why I stopped using them. I don't blame you. I mean, it's one thing to have an attractive woman there or attractive anyone, because guys get that too. I know the females get the most attention as far as the untoward behavior, but there are guys that get it too. So, just saying. So yeah, I would rather have people there at the booth, like saying hi to people, maybe taking payments, making sure that I'm behaving, sort of thing. So I totally get that, Joe. I really do. So yeah, and also I have also seen some booth babes that are there to promote their Chatterbait page, that sort of thing, or I've heard of some who say, well, you have to hire me as a professional, so they get a room, they get to bring their friends, they get flown in, and then they don't show up at their booth because they're too busy partying the whole weekend. I've got some friends that have had some major cosplayers who have had some definite things to say about that. And someone who has always something wonderful to say is Keisha Acuff says, I bought over 1,000 cards for my art and writing, and I thought they would last forever. It's been a few months and they were already gone. That's a good sign that people are interested. But yeah, it's one of those things where you have to invest in your business, and every year I have to make sure I have to start out my season knowing that I've got enough business cards. Bookmarks don't last me don't go quite so quickly because I only give away bookmarks except at book shows, proper. But most of the time I give them out with a purchase. So anyway, back on the cereal box, they only want your card. I know that guy, probably the same guy giving you a dislike. Yeah, that's probably true. If it's who I think it might be, they never got my card. So anyway, their lives are lacking. Well, their lives are lacking anyway, and we probably should not mention them at all, actually, because they're probably, touching themselves inappropriately at the thought, ooh, they're paying attention to me. I'm important now. But actually, I have a list of suspects, and I have a way of making sure those, I'm going to check. I might be able to make those disappear. 10 Days Artistry, the show attendees that drive me crazy are artists that bring their portfolio for me to review or a pitch session for their fantastic new comic idea. Yeah, I know. I get that frequently too. Well, you publish books. Well, when can I send you mine? No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. It's like, or I've got this 50,000 page book that's single space with no indents or punctuation. Can you edit it for me? What do you mean you charge for it? I thought you were in this because you love the medium. You're a fake. I actually met a guy who has written like novels. I mean, scores of novels since like the early 70s. He's not gotten one of them published because basically it's one long, and these are novel length books. We're talking about Skyman and Volcana length books. And he has punctuation, but he has no indents. It's all one long single-spaced paragraph for pages and pages. And the first time I met him, he goes, well, can you publish my stuff? I've got about 50 books. And I'm like, why aren't you publishing? Well, I don't want to mess with that. That's like too much work. I just want somebody to send me a lot of money. Well, this ain't happening. So anyway, yeah, or I get, I'll listen to occasionally if I'm not busy with other people, I might listen to an elevator pitch, but otherwise I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it because there is a danger. Fortunately, the ones that have forced their stuff on me, there's no way I'm writing anything that bad. But anyway, they, I tell them legally I cannot listen to it because if I do something inadvertently, it's close to you, I'm potentially liable in court. And I think one person tried to tell me his book, and I told him, I said, frankly, I've never write anything like this. I can't steal your story because you don't have one. When you spend 5 minutes telling me how awesome your hero is, you don't have a story. Your hero isn't the story. The story is the story. And Nita Lanning, good to see you, hon. And thank you for the invite. I took you up on it. And I agree with you. Just smile and nod. Grant, smile and nod. Yeah, pretty much. And Grant Lanker says, I had free stickers out. It was a good icebreaker. A lot of times people were just going to walk past my booth and I said, free sticker. And then you have about 5 seconds to pitch your books. Excellent. That's a good use. And stickers are cheap. That's the thing. If you get yours through someplace like Sticker Mule, you can afford to just pass them out. That's a good icebreaker. The thing is, you want them at your booth. Here's the origin, Grant, of the Fez and the bow tie. If I get a Doctor Who fan, and they'll look at me and go, bow ties are cool, Fezes are cool. We started a conversation, and probably I'd say at least 40% of those conversations lead to sales. So anyway, Nick Talker, do not feel bad about technical limitations. Seriously, your background doesn't attack you. Well, that's true. I do have that. I don't have a background that every now and then, there is a beautiful online comic strip called PvP, and it's about gamers that work for a gaming magazine. And every now and then one of the guys, who's kind of like one of the anti-heroes in the thing, will say something stupid, and next thing you know, there's this giant panda grabbing him from behind and gnawing on his skull. So that's the way I see your backgrounds happening. So that's why everyone's got to watch Friday nights, the Historical Fencing Guild, and see how long it takes for Nick's background to attack him. And Rick Bradley, good morning, Nevermorians. Good morning to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. And everyone's saying hello. And Carl Witzman, you have a reason to be late because you were you're doing vacuuming for Donna. So you are wonderful. And please come to the Saturday show in Peoria, the Indie Author Book Expo, because Carl will be there. I think this is his only show this year. So if you want the Mad Gasser cheerleader of Calhoun County in your collection, you got to go there and pick it up from him. And got to vacuum while she's out of the house. And that's detention for you, Carl. That's right. And right, Grant. And Rick Bradley says, I caught the tail end of the James Marsters talk. Did I hear correctly that he liked a book you were in? Dude, awesome. Yeah, he congratulated us for Pulp Reality #1. And he said, you guys are slaying it. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. It's like, okay, we will. And that's why issue 2 is out right now on Amazon. Please come pick it up. And Carl, I did get the Indiana bottle yesterday, so it's all good. The thing is, trying to find where they sell Kraken on the Kraken website is damn near impossible. They don't say nothing. And Ryan Permison shared. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate you, brother. Hope you're doing well. And Grandma, I say that with love. Molly Daniels, she just had a new grandbaby. Congratulations, Molly. Good morning. Survived my eye dilation this morning and everything looks good. No cataract surgery in near future, just lenses and glasses. That's very cool. Well, the thing is, Cookie got cataract surgery a couple of years ago. And she now sees better than she ever has before. In fact, much of the time around the house, she reads without her glasses. She's got perfect vision now. She had to have a follow-up on one of her eyes, and she's back to 20/20 once again. And she has to have glasses for distance now. But she's seeing better now than she did before. And I'm like, well, it's like, damn, everything's still clear white, not milky. It sounds pretty good. I wouldn't mind getting rid of these some days because I didn't start except in 6th grade. I got tired eyes and I had to have glasses for a year, but then it cleared up whatever was wrong with me. But it wasn't until I was in my mid-30s I started wearing the cheaters, and I just thought everything was supposed to be that blurry because of my age. And I went and got my eyes checked for a driver's license test, and the guy behind the counter was an old friend of mine. And he said, "Oh, he covered, like one eye. Oh, my honey's here. My honey. Oh, There you go. Here we go. I'll put that down. Make it easy for you. Thank you, sweetheart. You got yours?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Why don't you take the rest and you drink it?
Because you need it.
Oh, I do need it. I need you, darling. Love you. Thank you. Mwah. Fresh, hot. But anyway, no, he covered up one eye, or he didn't cover up both eyes. And he said, read this line. I read it perfectly. Then he covered up my left eye and says, now read the line. I read it perfectly. Then he covered up my right eye and he said, now, what does that line say? And I said, your guess is as good as mine. I couldn't read it for anything. And he said, if I give you your driver's license, you're going straight to an optometrist, aren't you? I said, yes, sir, I am. Funny you should mention that. And I did. I kept my promise. It's like he said, he gave me my driver's permit. I drove straight down to the Walmart optometrist and I got my first pair of glasses in over 20 years. But it was funny because the guy, we went through the eye test and then all of a sudden he dims the lights and closes the door and sits right at my knee. And I'm like, he's either, I'm expecting like a candlelight dinner and he's going to propose to me now. What the hell is going on? And he goes, Brian, I've got some terrible news. You need bifocals. And I'm like, okay, so? And he was like, what? And he's like, most people start crying when I tell them that. I said, dude, if it'll clear up my eyesight, that's fine. It's not like you're telling me I have 2 weeks to live, okay? So I got my bifocals, no lines, and I've had them ever since. So, anyway, there was a little digression, and I cannot wait until I'm making 100K on campaigns and don't have to fulfill them anymore like the pros. Just grab that money and run. That's right, Eric. That's right. The pros that aren't working for the big companies anymore. Yeah, there are some people who have migrated from the professional ranks of comics, like the top 4, let's call them, and they don't do any work for them, but they only do themselves, but they're doing themselves all right. But they have time to broadcast all the time and tell people how much other people suck and, and not fulfill their pledges. There are some people, from the independent crowd, I see a lot of good meritorious behavior, but you have certain people that we will not name, but Eric knows who is running through my mind. I'm thinking of at least 3 of them who have worked in the pro ranks and then get the money and then decide, well, I don't have to fulfill this pledge. I'll just keep working on the money and keep promising them stuff. And I think there's only one of them that even halfway feels apologetic to it. And he's the one that's playing his people the worst. So, you know who. Anyway, we are not going to get into personalities unless it's mine. But anyway, yeah, Eric, I wish you luck on that. Maybe I'll ride your coattails on that. And Ryan Permisson says, good morning, Nevermorians. Conquered my biggest fear and got vaccinated last week. I am back to normal now. Glad that it's over and soon I can return to Earth safely. Look forward to meeting you all. We look forward to it too, Ryan. What after effects did you have? Now, this is your first shot. Which one did you get? And what effects did you have? I'm just curious more than anything. But I'm glad you're through it, Ryan, and congratulations, man. I mean, I don't like shots either. I was traumatized. My old doctor, I loved my family doctor, but he thought I used to cry when I was a kid. I got a shot because it hurt. I don't think they used the needles were a lot wider then, and my arm was a lot smaller, didn't have any muscles in it. But he would be like, okay, Brian, I'm going to give you the shot in 3, 1, 2. And I'm like, that's where I learned to swear and hate adults. So anyway, I'm glad you did it, man. And yes, it is a crazy world nowadays. Well, who'd want to start a fight in front of 3-year-olds? Who'd want to start a fight, period, Christian Jake? It just ruins it for everybody, especially at a theme park. And subscribe to that channel, that Nerd Culture channel, if you want some great nerdy content. And I know you do. Check it out. There is some good stuff. And ICYMI, check out our interview with podcaster Philippe Ferry of Distance Nerding. Check it out on YouTube. That's going to be a great interview. I got to check that out myself. And Arian R. Cherry, mwah, darling, how you doing? Good morning, Brian. Happy Monday. Looks like summer finally hit. Yeah, although it's supposed to, at least here in Lafayette, it's going to be about 5 degrees cooler than it was the last 2 days. And that'll be kind of nice. And we got rain coming in just in time for me to walk to the courthouse on Wednesday. Anyway, so I am learning to mix tracks for music, for my background music, for my spoken poetry videos. Yes. Recently, I completed my first video where I laid down 4 tracks, 1 spoken word track, and the other 3 are a melody and other backup sounds that I played and recorded on my keyboard. This poem tells a little bit of my own personal story about how I became a poet. The poem is called Growing Up a Poet, and check out, and there is a limit to how many characters StreamYard allows in announcements, Ariana. So finish that up for me, would you please? And Brian Rodman says, and way to go, Ariana, way to go. Always proud of you. Love you and Josh. A Comic-Con, says Brian Rodman, that we had a table at a few years ago. I witnessed a sad sight. Sad meaning hilarious. Those are the best. A guy in a very tight Spider-Man suit was talking with 2 attractive cosplayers, and well, he rose to the occasion and seemed to not be aware, but we were all very much aware of what was happening. Yeah, there are, after attending the Superman celebration for many years, that's where I learned the term dance belt. You know what I'm saying? There was one guy there that was always dressing in the tightest spandex, and apparently he was glad to see everyone. Yeah. And then there were, on the other hand, there were some women, and I think they were conscious of it, that if they were an automobile, their high beams were on. So anyway, yeah, that happens both ways. And it's, how do you have to have some willpower, like a Green Lantern, not to stare. It's like, even though you're not interested, it's like, oh my God. So yeah, and ICMI, check out our celebration of Star Wars with friends. Definitely check out Star Wars celebrations. That's good stuff. Oh, and for more cool poetry video, art, and a poetry blog and podcast, check out that website there, arianarcherry.me. Definitely check it out, and check out Cherry House Press books, of which I'm in one, Dreamscapes. Check out their stuff. And Cherry House Press goes in all my press releases that let me tell about all the places that published me. And I'm usually still in my jammies for the show. Wink. Oh, Molly. I happen to know. Now, not to raise the bar here, but I have at least one person who has told me they watch me after emerging from the shower, okay, and not bothering to get dressed anymore for bed. I will not say who it is, but I love her. And I thought I'd make sure you didn't think it was Christian. Anyway, Ryan Burmison, summer reading recommendations. Send him links to your paperbacks via direct message on Facebook. On Facebook, because he's looking to expand his culture knowledge, and I'm proud of him for that. And our con booth is open with beanbag chairs for our guests, no table between us and the fans. I want that protection, John Pica. I want that protection so desperately. Actually, when I had comics, I liked having, people come in and look. I didn't like standing behind because I could help them find things. But doing what I do, and a lot of cons that I go to don't allow you to move the table in back. And I'm just as happy to have my stuff back there too. Cindy Kep, good morning. How are y'all? Mwah. Cindy, how are you? Let's check out Animal Eye. And Cindy has broken the $3,500. She has completely made her goal of $3,400. Now, folks, Animal Eye, I would love it if y'all went to Kickstarter right now and check out the Zombieful World of Oz, and then check out Animal Eye. I want to get Cindy a little closer to $4,000 before she's got 2 weeks to go on this campaign. Check out that video. It is a thing of lovely gorgeousness. And so is Cindy. She was on Clever Title Pending last week. Do check that episode out. She was wonderful. Hey, Molly, I have to take Donna down for eye dilation later today. Lucky Donna. Lucky you. And Nick Tockard says, this Saturday I am booked running the Hybrids RPG Quick Play on a YouTube channel called Red Phoenix. I wish I could be there, dude. I'll try to check in on you, but hopefully I'll be too busy with any luck. And we have got to have FezCon, or what is it, Creator Con 2, whatever it is. Anyway, I know you and Amanda and myself, we got to put our heads together because I want to be there. I want to help. And we got to get some Nevermorians to set up over there too. Grant Lankert says, my friend Victor came with me on Sunday. I think I'm going to have to train him. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to, because people just don't think about what goes into sales. Like I said, the aforementioned comic person during the one sale in Peoria, I can't. I told him. I said, now here's the parameters. You help me load. You help me unload. You help me set. If I tell you to set something up, you do it. You do it to my specifications. I will explain everything. And then when you're here, I want you to just entertain people, engage with them. And if they need to talk to then bring them to me and I'll close the sale. I will handle all the money, and then I will let you go for lunch wherever you want, and I'll run the booth by myself. And then for an hour, I need you, and I'll just take a half hour, but I need you to run the booth, and just so I can have a half hour to get away and clear my head. Well, I took a break one time. I come back, and he's telling this one customer, you'll hate that book. I read it. I hated that book. You don't want that. And I said, dude, if they want that book, you don't talk them out of it, okay? And he goes, well, I couldn't let them buy a book I hated. I said, who the hell do you think you are? If they say they're interested in a book, you take their money, period. All right. And then I said, okay, I'm going to break away for half an hour. And he goes, I'm not going to watch this show for half an hour. You got to come back right away. I said, wait a minute. When did you start giving orders here? And the thing is, I was paying him cash money to be there. And he's like, well, I don't want to watch this for a half hour. I said, well, will you go get my dinner then? No, I don't want to. And I said, okay, fine. So I went and got my dinner anyway, brought it back to the booth. I don't like eating at my booth. I think it looks sloppy. That's just me. But I brought my food back. And then that night he goes, well, what time are you picking me up tomorrow? I said, I'm not. You're fired. And he goes, well, I won't do any of that tomorrow. I said, yeah, you told, you kind of implied you weren't going to do any of that stuff on the way in. You're fired. I'm never having you help me again. So I didn't. Anyway, and Amy Hale says, my daughter has to be aggressive with handsy cosplayers and patrons, especially when she cosplays as Harley Quinn. John has followed her around giving guys dirty looks if they attempted anything. That alone should cause heart failure in those poor dweebs. But no, and I understand, between you and me, I keep an eye on her too when I see her at a show. But that's the shame that we have to look out for our friends who cosplay. And Amy, you know what it's like to be stared at too, right? And you don't even have to be dressing up. These lonely people are everywhere. But yeah, and it's even worse when somebody thinks they can put their hand on your butt just because you're dressed up as a third party. You know, and you know, that's why I took to, you know, from the first start when cosplay started to develop, I would be like, you know, for instance, I'd go up to somebody and say, "Could we get our picture taken here?" And they'd go, "Yes." I said, "Can I put my arm, you know, around? Where would you like me to put my hands?" You know, that is always something good. And if they say, you know, just put them at your side, I'm like, I'm good with that, thank you. Or I had one girl say, "Anywhere you want, honey." And I'm like, "You're my favorite." Anyway, but I have to be told. Rick Bradley says, "When I'm at a convention, it's the people that engage me that get my money." There you go. There's the thing. If you win the jackpot of getting Rick's attention, you wave money at him, he'll take it. Oh, man. And Mike Jimmy Larson de Bruin, hello, lovelies. Hello to you, my friend. I hope you're having a great Monday so far. Good to see you. Molly Daniels says, "If she's as eye-phobic as I am, I'll be praying. Only took 5 tries to stick that thing in my eye for the eye pressure." Oh, I hate the eye pressure test, that little puff of air thing. I'm the same way. I cannot stand anything near my eyes, which is why I don't wear contacts. I would rather wear contacts, but I'm just sensitive. Even I can't get near my eyes. And the interior of my left eye, an optometrist saw it one time when they did the little eye thing, the eye exam, and they said, I've got to send you to the university to get your eye checked. And they took like a laser, 3D laser imaging of the thing, and it looked like the surface of Mars. It really did. It looked like some alien planet in there. But the eyesight is not deteriorated over the years. In fact, it's a little below normal, but only a little below normal. In fact, I think it's now better than my right eye. But they had to numb my eyes so that they could touch it. And I just wanted to jump out of my skin every time they did, because I'm like, he's touching my eye. Oh my God. Anyway, Cindy kept on the more positive subjects. QuadCon, comics and toy show, cool stuff. This Saturday in Davenport, Iowa. She will be there with dragons, unicorns, books, and birds. And you can talk to her about her brand new comic book. Her first one, Animal Eye, #1 an all ages comic, currently being funded on Kickstarter. She has made her goal. She has surpassed her goal of $3,400, but we need to get her past that, all right, to defray the costs of the platform. Because Kickstarter, Indiegogo, they all take a cut of the take. Like, it's around ish 9 to 10%. And granted, you know, if you factor that into your expenses, you know, that you're asking for, but we want to get Cindy way past that. We want to get, because if she hits 4,000 for her stretch goal, she's going to hire a letterer to re-letter her books for foreign markets. How cool is that? Wouldn't you like to say you've got a friend who's internationally published? Isn't that cool? Anyway, check out Cindy Kemp at QuadCon Comic and Toy Show this coming Saturday. She will be awesome. And the dark recesses of what? Oh, Pocket. Yes, Eric Hawkins. Yeah. Eric, between us, we've got a lot of dark recesses, if you know what I mean. And nobody actually saw Heroes of Cosplay. I was the only one, I think. Heroes of Cosplay. That was it, John. JohnPica.com. Check out all his good stuff. But keep your hands to yourself. But anyway, no. Some people did, and the wrong people did. Like I said, I was living in East Central Illinois at the time, and I talked to so many people, primarily girls at shows, who thought they could run down to the Halloween stores, grab themselves a costume, and suddenly they were going to be the next Yaya Han. And I remember the first show I ever judged. They asked me to judge at Cape Con in Cape Girardeau. And we had a very attractive blonde lady who came up as Supergirl, but even from 50 feet away, you could tell she bought this thing at a Halloween store. The costume, and she didn't pay top dollar for it either. It was just one step above a Ben Cooper outfit, you know. All she needed was a Supergirl face, you know, with the rubber band around it. But anyway, she did not win, obviously, because there were people that actually put forethought into their costumes. And we were told she was hunting for the judges to give us a piece of their mind. Because one of the dealers said, "Well, I'm going to find those judges. I'm going to bitch them out." And they asked her why. And she goes, "Well, I didn't win. Can't they see I have breasts?" And it's like, yeah, we couldn't help but see you had breasts, but that's not enough, you know? Anyway, Molly Daniel says, when Rob Hoff's first book was out, I was in the booth with him, and he had a life-size cutout of his cover model. Several customers asked if it was me. Thank you, but hell no. Shouldn't you take it as a compliment, Molly, that you were confused with the cutout babe? That's what I need, cutout babes too. And if you're a female cosplayer, you must have an OnlyFans account. It's back of the cereal box. I know some that have ChatterBait accounts. You know what I'm saying, John? In fact, I know one cosplayer from the St. Louis area that she was on the fast track. She was a signed model for one of the publishers down there, and she was getting into the shows and everything. In fact, I met her at a small show I did in like Southeast Illinois. That isn't there anymore, unfortunately. But she started doing ChatterBait because she didn't like this working 9-to-5 thing, and you know, she was one of those can't they see I have breast types, and she wound up alienating the entire community, you know, the entire cosplay community of St. Louis, because she was more interested in letting everyone see what was under the cosplay than you know, because there's a certain amount of dignity that needs to be encouraged, I think. And some of the people that were, you know, that you know, talked about her, you know, just basically, you know, we're not here to have your fans ask to see what we look like under our costumes. And so she's happily now doing, I think she's got an OnlyFans channel. She's doing ChatterBait, and I'm not shaming any of that stuff. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But, you know, there are repercussions sometimes to things, and you have to weigh these things carefully about if that's the kind of image you want to do. And she was doing it because it wasn't that she was encouraging body positivity. I know several people that do OnlyFans to encourage their positivity about themselves, and I dig that the most. But there are some who are like, it's a cash grab, and you can tell. So anyway, whatever makes you happy. With the girls topic, the shows I have coming up, my phone's been off the hook with girls saying they want hugs and pictures after the show. I've gotten 15 hugs so far. Christian Illusionist, Jake Lindsay, you're keeping track of them. This is good. Anyway, good for you. And back in the cereal box says, Michaela Jade, you're hired. Oh, make sure he has a show going, Michaela. It's, you know, yeah, I'm at the Super 8. Let's audition. No, John's better than that. Rick Brad, he'd go to at least a Comfort Inn. Anyway, Rick Bradley says, yeah, I followed a lot of cosplayers that were either on it or offered a spot. They were all against the Heroes of Cosplay show. Yeah, most of the ones I saw were against it too, because it also made their lives harder too. All of a sudden, and also it didn't help a lot of conventions, because see, a lot of those conventions that were offering, you know, the big cash prizes, the Sci-Fi Channel offered those prizes and said, you have to do it our way so that we get a good show. Basically, the outcome was predetermined along the way. That's not a contest. And I feel so bad for the people that entered these contests in good faith, thinking I have a chance to win some possibly career-changing money. Maybe not life-changing money, but career-changing money. And the winner was already in the bag. So that show was poison. 3538 for Animal Eye issue 1, aiming for the first 4,000 stretch goal. And check out that address there. Please support what Cindy kept. She's one of our own. Please, let's support her. She's got a great comic too. Seriously, I'm not doing it just because Cindy's amazing, which she is, but seriously, she's got a fantastic comic book too. Nick Tucker says, Illusionist Jake, brother, we can fixate on a negative event or realize there will be some acting out and move forward to better stories of better events. Yeah, I think we've milked the fight story long enough. I agree with you, Nick. Cindy Cap, see a Nazi get a slug to the mug. Go to Smashwords and look for Brian K. Morris. Hey, that's me. And you can learn how and why to write reviews with Amazon Reviews Made Less Impossible. And it helps your favorite authors, of which I would be grateful if you left me some reviews if you've read my work. And also, it does just a lot of good. And you never know, it could do some good for you too. Anyway, your karma will be righted if you check that out on Amazon. Thank you, Cindy Kep. And Nick Tockard, you must give off an aura that messes with electronics. This is a real thing. And, it's true. There are, it's like Bachelor's Grove, that one area where electronics don't work properly. And back of the cereal box, let's talk. Oh, yeah. And Christian Illusion and Jake Lindsay on the lighter topic. I've had people see me at my other job and they recognize me from Facebook. 5 people that see me on Facebook visit my other job when I don't know them. We'll see, you're picking up groupies. This is good. And Michaela J. No, excuse me, fans. And this weekend, I will have my costume. Oh, yes, she has a lovely costume. She seriously does. I've seen it. It is beautiful. And I will have special gifts for those who buy my entire set of books. Excellent, excellent. And I'll probably work out a deal for mine, too. And I'll have some fresh material with me. Cindy Cap says, go support the hybrids. Sons of Gods, Indiegogo. Then go get them big stumpy robots on Amazon. Yes, let's help Luke Stone get to his goal. I think he's real close. I think he's like a couple $100 away from it. I'd like to see him hit it before the end of the week. Molly Daniel says, I used to regularly set up with another author who would bring her cleavage so we'd get lots of attention at shows. Yeah, but did it translate to sales? It doesn't always at comic shows, I know. And I've been showing my cleavage for years. Anyway, Carl Witzman, I hope that my shaved head and epic beard draw in the female book buyers this weekend. If nothing else, I will stare at you longingly, Carl. How does that sound? I'll try to help. And Nazi Vampires, check out the work of John B. Pica, Nightreich on Amazon. Thank you, Cindy, and thank you for The Legend of the Traveling TARDIS every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central Time. Christian Basil and Melanie Dean run an incredible weekly show on all things Doctor Who. And also check out, they've got a weekly news show on Doctor Who that's also quite entertaining around the lunch hour. So please check it out. Nicholas Tucker says, see, my version of Booth Babes are my friends and family, and all are delightfully well suited as. There we go. And if it doesn't, Carl, they are missing out. I agree. You have the kind of beard that we can only envy. Cindy Cap says, CromCon this weekend. I'll join the shenanigans on Sunday. Excellent. I will try to tune in. And like I said, we will be broadcasting from Michaela's booth on Saturday. I think it's around 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Michaela will have the time, and she'll corral us when the time is there, I'm sure. And martial artists to deal with any issues delightfully well. Like your background attacking you. I get it. And thanks, Amy, says Carl Witzman. I hope Donna can take in all the money while they are busy stroking the beard. Is that code? Molly Daniel says, I've got a fantastic bestseller idea. Oh, you want me to write it? Why can't you write it for me? Yes. This. Seriously. Yeah, I've got this great idea. It'll make you $1 million. You can write it for me. I don't want anything for it. Malarkey. Yeah, that's when I say, you see that door on the far side of the room? Be on the other side of it. And screams in editorial, says Mike Shimmy, Lordship de Bruin. What have we done? If it's this show, I am, I'm probably mispronouncing your name, but Mike Jimmy, I love you, man. I'm glad you're here. And honestly, says Brian Rodman, I'm honored to help up and coming creators at cons who are asking questions about the process. Other than selling books and getting to know folks, that's my favorite part about Comic Cons. Yeah, same with mine. That's how Rick Bradley became friends with me and Amy and Kathy Jackson. He had questions. We apparently had some answers. And look where he's gone since then. And, Grant, that's how Grant and I got to be friends. So several of you guys here and gals. So it's a good thing. And the fact that I see you guys doing the same thing with others makes me happy. So, and nice, says the Ninja Gang. Okay, cool. And I'm glad we did something good. And so agree, Ted. Brian and I had tables next to each other one time, and a guy spent 20 minutes telling us his entire book plot that he hasn't written yet, says Amy Hale. Oh my God, I'd forgotten about that. Yes. What a nightmare. And we're like, waiting for the 16-ton weight to descend upon him. It's like, shut up, fella. And I had somebody, I was working at the table by myself. I was doing a show in St. Louis, Southern St. Louis, where this guy was, and I told him, I said, I can't listen to it because what if I write something similar? You could sue me. And he's like, well, I won't sue you. Here it is. And I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I really do not care to hear. And his friend was there, and this guy was just yak. And he was there for 10 minutes. I didn't have any customers because people couldn't get past him. And I finally told his friend, I said, get him out of here. Seriously, I don't want to hear him. And if I have to, I will talk to the promoter and have him bring security to have him thrown out. And his friend was like, I can't stop him. He does this with people. And I said, well, you better figure out a way. And finally, somebody walked up and looked at my books, and I said, quiet. And I walked over and greeted the other person and said hello to them. And the other guy was like, well, the talker was like, and he walked off, and I never saw him again. Good. Continue for me not seeing you again. Anyway, Molly Daniel says, dear editor, we seem to be having a miscommunication. I don't want a rejection. I want you to publish this and send me $10,000. Yeah. There was a beautiful old story by Mad, and I think it's the only one this guy ever turned in because he did the art and story himself. It was beautiful, and he wanted so badly to be published by Mad. And he didn't. He collected rejection slips, and he said, I don't really, I'm sending you this really bad idea, and I don't really want you to buy it. I'm really looking for a rejection letter because I collect them. I pin them on my wall. And Mad said, that's a beautiful idea. Here's a check. And the guy writes back, says, no, really, could you send me one of your rejection slips? I really want to put it in my collection. Here's a cartoon showing me waiting on the mailbox, and the letter comes back, goes, that's a funny cartoon. Thank you for sending us. Here's a check. And this goes back and forth for about 3 more pages. And finally, the guy says, okay, you know what? You've convinced me. I do have talent. I can do this sort of thing. I've burned all my rejection slips. I've thrown everything away. Here's a couple of scripts I'm sending you. And then he gets back, dear sir, thank you for sending this, but this does not meet our needs at this time. Sincerely, the editors at Mad. So it was beautiful and wonderfully ironic. And Cindy Cap is out of break. Oh, Cindy, we're glad you're here, and I can't lurk this time. So don't forget to tip your host. Thank you. Bring Cookie home. Thank you, darling. And check out all the cool broadcasts everyone else is doing as part of the Rising Tide Broadcasting Network, especially last Tuesday when Cindy Cap was our guest. Thank you, Cindy. Mwah, you have a great Monday, hon. I will talk to you soon. And Teresa Dunn is there, and she's got something going for, I assume, herself for her poetry expressions. A duel of books, and she's working on a hat trick of them. Yes, number 3 is in the works. And okay, back home, Joe Dog, glad you made it home safely. Apparently, it was a fight at an amusement park that could have gotten ugly. And one really cool thing happened. A girl was slapped by her father, and she came to me for help, says Christian illusionist Jake Lindsay. I told her, forgive your father. Day later, they made up, and she gave me a big, long hug for helping her. Well, that's a good story, Christian Jake. I'm glad to see that. And Brian Robbins says, we hand out free stickers and bookmarks. This usually grabs a lot of folks for us. Ironically, the kids love the creepy bookmarks we have of the Demon from Memoirs. Too bad it's not a kid-friendly series. Yeah, that's and that's the thing. I have Spencer Spook, and it's not exactly like Larry Flint published it or anything. But I have parents, I said, because there are a couple of good-looking women in there. And I'm like, I want you to, I do tell parents, please look at this and tell me if you think it's appropriate for your child. Because some people don't want that sort of objectification. I can say those words. They don't want their kids to see that. And I get that. I totally support it. So I have people look at stuff. I've even had kids like 8 or 10 say, well, that Santa sign looks good. I'd say, Dad, could you please flip through that? Let me tell you a couple things that you may not want them to hear. And I've only had one person turn me down. And some kids, I tend to forget that there are some kids like myself whose reading comprehension was a lot better than their grade, their school grade. So, they might be in 3rd grade, but they're reading like young adult books sort of thing. So, I leave it to the parents, though. Molly Dan says, I hand out bookmarks when I'm at the Christmas show and the state fair. People take it and say, oh, you wrote this? And come into the booth area. Well, that's cool. I definitely use my bookmarks. I have QR codes on mine so that they can go check out my other work. Or people ask, do you have the new insert famous author name book? No, I'm not allowed to sell their books. I can only sell mine. I get that too. And I tell people, Stephen King Well, I would, but I prefer only high-class authors. Look at the stuff I've got. So anyway, and Bill Sarden, good morning to the maniacal madman and the fuzzy fez and all the merry Monday Morians. Count your blessings. Enough said. Good to see you, Bill. Hope you're having a good morning, and thank you, brother. Appreciate it. We're going to bring Cookie home one day. And so sorry, James. Excuse me. Rick Bradley says, so James Marsters like Pulp Reality #1. It was my story, wasn't it? I might be a little giddy right now, and by a bit, I mean OMG, OMG, OMG. Yes. He didn't mention you by name, but I'm sure he meant you, Rick, a lot. So humor, Rick. He could get dangerous. Anyway, but no, that was so sweet of Jeffrey Hayes to make that happen, and that was so fun. And having met him once, that was just kind of like oh my god, this makes up for a lot of stuff that happened today. So anyway, Joe Dog McKeel says I had a table once, I had a table babe once for HoloCon. She was blessed. I just bet she was. This guy walked up, took one look at her, jaw dropped open, he spun and walked away. I said in a stern tone, "Stop scaring away the nerds." Oh, and most of the time it's like leaving a wet candy cane out for the ants. You know what I'm saying? And then I've done some shows where some of the other guys in booths can't stop staring at them either. I've got a beautiful. I took a beautiful. Several beautiful shots from C2E2 a number of years ago, and there was this guy across from me kept photobombing me, and so I take a picture of an attractive cosplayer. When I have the time. If I'm too busy, I don't get the shots. But a couple of the cosplays really impressed me, so I said, "Can I take a picture?" But this guy would lean around the side of her and go, they'd photo bomb. And I bought something from him. I said, "Man, you're making my weekend, dude." And Ariana Archerry, you and Cookie are so sweet, and she brings you coffee. That is sweet too. Yes, that is, and probably necessary. Because after the first cup wears off, it'd be like, never mind, first more. So yeah, she's helping all of us right now. And $196 from $6,000 on the Zombie for World of Oz #3. Woohoo! The last 2 days usually bring in an extra 20 backers or so. I've gotten 10 new backers in the last 24 hours. That's because you got a superior comic book there, brother. And it's good stuff there. I am so excited for you. This is great. This is great. Pretty soon you're going to be too good to talk to us. This will be great. And Eric's like, I already am. Christian Illusionist Jake Lindsay, with every situation, no matter how much they hurt or betray you, show them love and forgiveness. My father told me that's the best weapon against hate. You got that right. Your dad is so wise. And Mike B says, your eyesight is going down. Well, cool. It's been doing so since I was 10. Nobody cares. Oh, I'm just glad Christian Basil wasn't here to hear that last part. This could get sticky. And he likes it that way. But anyway, no, it's just a natural thing about the aging process. Yeah, my eyes, when I was about 10 years old, got pretty bad, and I had to wear glasses. And then one day I realized I can see better without them than I can with. And they took me back to the optometrist, and he said, yeah, just, apparently I had been reading in bad light and also reading in the car while we drove because the vibrations, it's hard to keep focus and all. So he said, stop reading in the car, start reading in a good light. You should be fine. Keep the glasses in case you ever need them. I think I finally threw them away, or my mother threw them away about 2 years later. So you're not using these things. Don't keep them. It's not like you're Clark Kent or anything. It's true. Now it gives my face character, but and your eyesight will go up and down as you get into the tender years, such as myself. And Clyde Hall is here, rounding out the hosts of Comic Book Spectrum. Happy Monday! My worst creative approach incident. Yeah, get a muffler. Anyway, glad to see you, Clyde. And his worst creative approach incident was a friend who asked for help patenting an invention. To her, my writing equated knowing patents. Told her otherwise, asked about her idea. She had none. She wanted me to come up with one, patent it, and split the revenues with her. Yes. Oh, my God. It's like my grandmother used to say, when I used to play the Illinois State Lottery, my grandmother said, well, you keep buying tickets, and if you win, you give me half, and if I win, I'll buy you lunch. I'm like, Grandma, I ain't buying you tickets if this is how it's going to work. So I'll buy you lunch though. But yeah, it's amazing how many people, and Clyde, all of you, it's not like you run out of ideas easily. You've got more ideas than you'll probably ever get to. You've probably thrown away ideas that are better than 20%, than probably 90% of what you hear at a show. But there's always someone that's like, oh, you're my friend. Publish this book. I had somebody on one of the Superman celebration forums. They said, well, I just finished the first draft of my book. And somebody immediately said, send it to Brian. He'll publish it. And I got on there and said, one, don't you be making promises for me. And two, he's already approached me and I turned him down. So anyway, people just don't understand this process. Brian Rodman says, I have to give a shout out to my honey, Robin Rodman, because she's awesome. Not only does she continually make my dreams come true and tirelessly help me with my comic business, but also still selflessly takes care of so much for us. She keeps me going, and she is the reason I'm able to do what I do. I love her more than I ever thought I could love another person. Get you someone like that, folks. I'll vouch for having one of those. She brings me coffee. She goes out. She won't let me get a job. Seriously, I have offered to get a job. Even just handing out carts and greeting people at Walmart. And she goes, no, you stay home and write, because that's how you're bringing me home. How can you not work with something like that? Anyway, Ted Davies, Eric, congrats, bro. Much success. Definitely. Eric knows how to do this thing. He is awesome. Eric Hawkins says, I was curious what all the manga American comics controversy is about. Then finally saw it. The pros are working at the big two that are complaining about how well manga sells. Yeah, it's, you see so much of this in fandom, where how come they're succeeding and I'm not? Well, why aren't you doing something that is worth succeeding? And manga has been outselling American comics for decades. It's like there was a great article on Bleeding Cool several years ago where somebody came into a comic shop and said, I want to buy the best-selling comic book in the world. Which one is it? Is it X-Men? Is it Batman? And they said, it's Naruto. And they're like, no, seriously, Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man, what? And he goes, no, it's Naruto. Naruto sells more in a week than the top 10 at the time that, of course, the original Naruto is done. But he said, this book sells more in 1 week than than many companies' total output in the Big Ten of the Diamond catalog. Said, this thing sells hundreds and hundreds of thousands of copies. And there are so very few American comics that sell 100,000 copies anymore. In fact, if you got up to, like, say, if you got up to 100,000 with your comic book, chances are you get you might get a contract with the company. But yeah, and it's sour grapes. It's the same way that like book publishers and comic book retailers and book retailers are like, well, you can't sell your ebooks cheaper than what we sell them for. You're cutting into my profits. And it's like, no, most of the time it's a different audience, because a lot of people who buy ebooks are not the same ones that buy physical books. I don't buy as many physical books as I used to for a reason. I don't want to store them all. I don't have the room to store them all, but I can carry them in my iPad real easy. And it goes up and down a flight of stairs a lot simpler too. But, the thing is, the mainstream comic book companies have reprinted manga and not done incredibly well. Marvel used to do reprints of the Japanese X-Men and Spider-Man manga, and it didn't work because they weren't in continuity. DC has put out like 3 volumes of a Justice League manga, but when they do more stuff that has a manga look to it. Now, I'm not saying we need to have every comic look like it was produced in Japan, because that's the same sort of thinking that, well, we've got to make everything look like an Image comic back in the 90s. I think everyone just needs to do better comics is what it is. Stuff that people want to read instead of indulging our own, what we think they want to read. Ariana Archeri, and this is my spoken word poetry video, Growing Up a Poet. Please like and subscribe while you're there. Please support this gal. She is wonderful. And Brian Rodman, the shower girl that Brian referenced. It's me. I'm shower girl. Grr. It's true, Brian. It's true. And now for my witties. Oh, we've been looking forward to your witties, Joe Dog McKeel. And cannot verify the validity of the source, but wise advice from a master, if true, happens to every guy sometimes, this says Yoda. That's right. Ariana or Cherry says you can buy Dreamscapes, which has Brian's work as well, and Molly Daniels, as well as 100 authors from all over the world. It is an international anthology, and you can get it at Dreamscapes at Cherry House Press. Check it out on Amazon. You'll be glad you did. My essay is about why I don't remember my dreams anymore. It is a conscious effort. And hit that like button. Thank you, Ted Davies Artistry. And please check out Ted Davies Artistry. Check out his catalog and give him a like too, all right? And Rick Bradley, I knew it was you, Brian. I knew it. Yes. You can tell from the love in my voice, right? And anyway, check out the anthology there on that Ariana has on Facebook. Please check it out. All right. And she goes on to say, Cherry House Press, soon to be Full Moon Inc., has published authors you may be familiar with, such as Lacey Lemke and Teresa Dunn, and Brian submitted to Dreamscapes. Check out their books at Cherry House Press, soon to be rebranded. Check it out. It's great. And Nick Tucker says, I not only love my table, let's see. Okay, here we go. I not only love my table space, but the tablecloth makes a mini apartment for little man. That's true. It keeps them occupied, and that's a good thing. And that's where I store my crap under my little cloth fort there. Brian Rodman says, if you missed last week's show, be sure to check out Comic Book Spectrum issue 13. This is the show with issues. We had great conversation about comics, and of course, the sultry tones of Clyde Hall is reason enough to tune in. You for a voice like Clyde's, you pay $2.99 a minute. That's what I'm saying. So after this broadcast, get your comic book fix for the Rising Tide Network and tune in this Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern for the shenanigans. Yes, issue 14. We are going to have fun. It is going to be a great time, as always. And we appreciate everyone that joins in the conversation. And thank you. It's much appreciated. Ugh, being stared at. I got sick for a moment there with the memories, says Amy Hale. Yeah. I understand, especially who it was. I get it. And no, friends, it wasn't me. Brian Rodman, I'm so excited for Imaginarium. The Brian Fest shall be overwhelming to all we see. And don't worry, folks, there will be pictures. Oh, hell yes, there will. And I apologize to Amy. Joe Dog McGill says, sorry, I just got lost in thought. It was unfamiliar territory. It was scary and had these prickly things that made my brain itch. Oh, that's why I try to keep my brain as devoid of all thought as I possibly can. And so far, so good. Rick Bradley, well, back to stalker mode, blasted 9 to 5. I need to get more books to sell. Yes, you do, young man. So be productive today when you get home. Glad you're here, Rick. And it is really interesting to learn the different vibes between gaming cons, book cons, and comic cons, says Nick Tucker. Yeah, there is a definite different vibe to each. And different levels. You know, of course, each one has its, different levels, because like the gaming convention I almost went to, it has a totally different vibe than, say, Gen Con, for instance. The Indie Author Book Expo is going to have a different vibe than PennCon. And there's C2E2, and then there's a lot of the medium level shows that I'm actually a lot more effective in. So yeah, it's interesting to figure out how to navigate and to figure out where you belong in them. So, and Nick Tucker says, you guys do have an internationally published artist and author. Yeah, that's true. Some of us are internationally published. I'm on 3 continents. I know you've done some good too. So yeah, we're all pretty accomplished here. Eric Hawkins. Okay, let's be honest. Yaya Han is famous not because of her costume. It's her. Well, and she knows that as well. That's why they are always almost falling out. She is aware of them, but those are hers because I think she still has the receipts. She knows, but she also does quality cosplay too, and she also pays it forward. I have seen her at C2E2, and she is so encouraging and so helpful to other people. And I know a lot of people that know her personally say she is a lovely lady. She really is. And Brian, Eric Hawkins, and I, Brian Rodman, will be your cutout babes. Our milkshake will bring all the boys to the yard. Oh yeah, it will. And what is this chatterbait you speak of? We'll save that discussion for later, Eric. It's where you get to know people personal. It's kind of like this, but charging, folks. And the dress code isn't as strict. Anyway, Rick Bradley says, but before I go full stalker mode, check out his Amazon author page at that address there, Rick Bradley, and you can find some of his books like The Nightmare Collective, Marvin's Night Out, Tales of the Weird and Strange, and the award-winning and Marsters approved Pulp Reality #1. That's right. What is it? Spike tested, Marsters approved. Yeah, so anyway, glad you're here, Rick. And Joe Dog McKeel says, shameless plug, HalloCon 2021 pre-registration hotel room block is open. Info at the HalloCon website. More info on guests and their badges are $35 until October 1st, 2021. And the rooms are $69.99. I got to get my room this week. I'm going to try a call today. And now, hashtag don't die. Feed Cookie. Yeah, I'm running 15 minutes behind. Thank you for that. And Skunk Rocker, even after eating and taking a break and drinking several caffeinated drinks, I'm still so tired that I'm afraid I'm going to pass out. Don't do that, dude. We need you. Poor Skunk. I agree with Carl Wisman. Poor Skunk. Eric Hawkins says, I had a young man ask me at my last con if I had an intern or mentor program. After I sent him to get me coffee, I said no. That sounds like something you do. Me too. I gave him my contact info and told him I'll help with any questions. That's what I generally do. Well, and we also had that one lady that came to both of us. And I expect to hear from her sometime. I really do. She sounds like she may have caught fire. I told her somebody actually pays money to have you put words in the word balloons, and her eyes just lit up. So I imagine mine did the same when I was 10 years old. But anyway, yeah, that's what we can do best is pay it forward. And Mike Jimmy says, hey, I'm looking for a writer for this series. So, hey, I got the story idea of 5 years of work and you'll love it. That's him looking for a writer for an ongoing series. That one hurt. Yeah, I see that a lot of time. It's kind of a variation of I've got this great story and you'll make $1 million off of it. Yeah. That's why we're working for ourselves, Mike Jimmy. That's why we're working for ourselves. And Mike Jimmy's going to be my guest soon on Clever Tile Pending, so please check out our shows on Tuesday night. And Brian Rahman, I'm available for all your comic book sultry tone needs. Thanks, Brian, says Clyde Hall. I'm here to pimp for y'all. I really am. And Eric Hawkins, you're savage. He is a savage. I know him. And Jake, my man, word to the wise, don't brag about all the ladies you hug. It gives off creeper vibes. It could. Just say you have a lot of fans, and not just only fans. And Molly Daniel says can't be at the signing next week. Darn mandatory shift at the day job, but we'll be at QuadCon Peoria June 5th. So come out and see me. I may try to get into that. You never know. We'll see what happens. I am kind of liking these weekends off, I have to say. And the thing is, sometimes Cookie, for the time being, may be having some mandatory weekend work too. So I may wind up coming to Peoria by myself, but right now that's not in the books. And Bill Sarn says, join the Far Out and Groovy Kids by clicking on Sarnart76 on Facebook for better days from yesteryear. This is the last week of his super secret print sale of his artwork. They're only $10 each when you buy 3 or more that can be purchased safe and securely through PayPal. And you can also buy cryptocurrency through PayPal now, too, just saying. So get your favorites now at the Artwork of Bill Sarn, where everything old is new again. Thank you, Bill. And Molly Daniel says, wonder if the boss would just lay me off for the months of July and August, but still pay me? Probably not the latter. Have him say it's COVID-related. Maybe you can get unemployment. Amy Hale says, mocks me with her laughter and says, I had to put my photo on my banner a few years ago because at comic conventions, people wouldn't believe me when I said I was the author of the books at my table. Yeah! I still get that. Did you write all of these? Yes, I did. Because I'm making something of my life. Anyway, Amy Hale continues. I had to prove it to them by showing my photos in the back of the books. And then asked Carl, so not you, my friend. That's a story. So not you, my friend. That's a story I'll tell you this weekend. Yeah. Let's just say it's somebody that's got a lot of hair and is not quite as impressive as your beard. Brian Robin, speaking of great beards, well, it's about that time, my friend. Thank you for yet another great start to the week. Have fun at jury duty. I hope to. And always tell the judge you're in support of castration. It's when I show him my own that I'm sure I'll be escorted out. Even for traffic tickets. Feed Cookie, bring Cookie home and laugh like the Shadow. Who knows what evil lurks in the heart of traffic court? The Shadow does. That felt good. Yes, Your Honor, I'm for 30 days in the electric chair for overtime parking. Which way is the door again, sir? Thank you, sir. And I can't wait, Amy. Yeah, Carl, it's a good story. John doesn't want me to go back to work either. He prefers I stay home and write a bestseller so we can retire on the beach. Yeah. Yeah, we're just happy if we can get Calgon going. You know what I'm saying? And Willow Scott sneaking in to say a quick hi. Well, Willow, mwah, thank you for all you do for the show. We appreciate you, hon. Oh, no, Willow, if you're listening, we will not have a Wednesday show, just so you know. You can give some other people some time on. And thank you to the Hanging with Web Show Network for allowing Willow to promote us. We love everyone there. Thank you, Garrett. And hey, Willow, hi, Willow. Willow's in the house, and hi. And Molly Daniels, I sold 2 copies of Dreamscapes at the Home and Garden Show on the 15th. Good for you. And Will's got to go back to work, so y'all be good now. Well, first time for everything. I'll be around this evening to hang out and chat if you need me. Might take you up on it, Will. Anyway, mwah, have a great day, hon. Hope your work shift goes quickly. Nick Tockert says, American comic creators need to expand beyond the superhero genre, stop writing derivative stories, retelling same stories, and tell better stories. Exactly. Well, you know, the thing is, I've gotten to the point in my comic book writing where I can tell you why I do things. A lot of things are not accidental. That's the way it is. I've got a little more experience than some people, and I've actually put in the study. And somebody who says, well, I've read 2 issues of Iron Man, I think I could be Dan Slott now. So anyway, Comic Talk with Bob Van Zandt. Sorry I'm late. Busy week for promoting for the Madness Comic Network. Definitely, sir. Good to have you here. Don't forget CromCon this Saturday, this Sunday with Pops Van Zandt. Good to have you here, Pops. Hope you're having a great week so far. And Mike Jimmy says, hopping on over quickly to Facebook to keep you updated on Life on Quora, number 4. Shut up, Christian. Coming to Indiegogo on June 11th. We'll be launching with the lovely ladies over at Ragin. Sign up and get a 30% discount on all physical orders at Indiegogo. Check it out. I'm looking forward to seeing that, Mike Jimmy. That's going to be great. And I just got an invite to Peoria QuadCon. Got to check my calendar. Well, good for you, Eric Hawkins. You stud, you. And good to see you, Pops. And that, I agree with Molly. That is awesome. Hey, gang, says back in Zero Box, gotta run. Have a great Monday. You too, John. And thank you again for that that video you sent me on Instagram. I'm in total agreement with it, man. That was great. And Amy Hale says this week, Creative is Hale on Thursday nights at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Central. We'll talk with best-selling author Annalisa Grant. That sounds cool. Very cool, Amy. Love your show. I really do. I check it out. I'm sorry ours runs so long anymore. The 4 of us just can't shut up. Anyway, Molly Dan says, I just paid for In Conjunction. Don't think QuadCon has invoiced me yet. I wrote QuadCon about shows, and I haven't gone back to them. I mainly want to see if somebody doesn't do their shows or somebody I do not get along with, and I will avoid a show if it means being in the same place as him. Anyway, Molly Dance forgot to mention Rex the Piddling Pup was accepted for publication. Yes, good for you. That is super. I want all the details. I want the details, Molly. And Dan Slott, who wants to be him? He's an actual hobbit. I know he is. You know, they did that series of specials for him, and you talk about somebody that got the bitch at it. You know, he did not come off very well. I mean, I think he's a terrific writer, but you know, and I'm digging his Fantastic Four right now. And he wrote some really good Spider-Man stories for 10 years. But when I see a lot of, you know, the way if that is how he behaves, it's you know, his sales better be pretty good to warrant him acting like that. And good show. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that. Have a good one, everyone. Carl, thank you for being here, brother. Love to you. Love to Donna. Give her a hug from me. Touch her inappropriately and say, Brian says hi. Anyway, that's what I used to do. When we used to go out to the Gordyville flea market, we had one guy there that, how do I clean up this story? I was there without Cookie one time. We weren't set up, but I was just wandering through to say hi to people. And he comes by and goes, where's Cookie? And I said, well, she's at work right now. And basically, the end result was me saying to Cookie, Russ says hi, Russ says hi, Russ says hi. So I'll let you fill that one in yourselves. You'll probably be better at it than I am. Anyway, have a good day, my friends. You too, Amy. Mwah. And check out Amy Hill Thursday nights at 8 p.m. A great show called Creative as Hell with her and her husband, John. And she, along with Carl and Donna and Michaela and a whole bunch of really, really great people will be at the Indie Author Book Expo this coming Saturday at the Peoria Civic Center at 201 Southwest Jefferson Street. Please come see us. We're there from 9 to 5 with our cups of ambition, and we look forward to seeing you there. And I say Molly Daniels, it's time for lunch. And see about getting Creative Generations formatted. Have a happy Monday, everyone. Thank you for being here, Molly. I love you. Congratulations again on the wee one entering the family. And thank you to everyone who's been watching the show. Please, as always, I've got to get this in from Nick Talker. Brian doesn't have an intern program. He is the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, where we poor little lambs have lost our way. Bah, bah, bah. Cue the air raid horn. Yeah. And thanks, Brian, from Ted Davies Artistry. Thank you, brother. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy your civic duty. Yeah, I'm going to do the best I can. And it's something I can't say I look forward to doing, but it is something I need to do. And say goodnight, everybody. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Joe Dog McKeel. Check out Stupid O'Clock Thursday nights at 9 p.m. and Saturdays at 11 on the Rising Tide Broadcast Network. Eric Hawkins, I actually think Slot is as lazy as that series made him out to be. From what I've heard, Eric, I say he got the bitch edit. From what I hear, there's only so much polishing of a turd you can do. And I'm not saying he's a turd, but his work habits. Well, it's something that I learned from, and I just blanked out on his name, Neil Posner, who was an editor and creator at DC. He was in charge of the Showcase program in the 80s. Or early 90s, I should say, early 90s, and he died way too soon. But he told me one time, he said, there's 3 things you got to do to break into the big leagues. 1 is be talented. You've got to have the chops to do the work. And 2, you have to make deadlines, because you aren't important enough for them to wait on anyone. And although years later they did, DC really screwed up their scheduling. But anyway, and the 3rd one is be nice. And then once you're in, you can drop one of those 3 and possibly keep a job. Apparently Slot has figured out which one he doesn't need to do anymore. But anyway, Eric, you and I will just, if we ever get the nod, we'll just have to be nice people. It'll be a stretch for both of us. But anyway, folks, thank you for being here. We're going to go feed Cookie right now. We've got about 5 more minutes to get this show out of and into the history books. So anyway, please go to risingtide.pub, and you'll find links there to sign up for my free monthly newsletter. It may be a few days late this month, depending on how jury duty goes, but otherwise you'll be out. It'll be out June 1st, the next issue of our free newsletter with all kinds of secret links. Hopefully a video this month. All kinds of cool things happening, and also a list of all of our potential shows till the end of the year. So if you want our full agenda, that's where you're going to find it, at risingtide.pub. And if you don't want to go there, please just send me via Facebook direct messenger. Send me your email address, and I will sign you up personally. All right. And thank you for your consideration. Also, check out the Rising Tide Broadcast Network of not publications, but podcasts and all kinds of cool stuff. And we're going to add a couple more pretty soon. I'm talking to a couple people who got some good stuff going. Anyway, check us out. We've got your entertainment and education covered 7 days a week, starting on Monday with me and ending every Sunday night with Comics, Chaos, and Sass with the lovely Heather Ellen. And we are promoting, we are educating, we're just doing awesome things. So please check out our family of shows. It isn't just me. Check out these shows. And all the folks, please like the videos that you see, including this one, if you would. And also, if you're on Facebook, like the page you're on as a thank you to our host. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, please, please, please subscribe to this channel. We are halfway to the 1,000 mark. And when we hit that, we're gonna have a real celebration. And also, you're getting us to 1,000. You're helping get us to 1,000 and beyond. Will help this show, because if we can get monetized, then we can do some more incredible things that you'll be entertained and thrilled by. And speaking of support, you can also support us directly by joining us on Patreon. You can be a patron. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can support your favorite creators directly. And check out these names. There's some cool people on here. And also a number of them have their own Patreon page. So check out what they do, because it's not just you send me money, I say thanks, and I go away and buy popcorn with it. No, we invest it back into this program, because it does cost us to do the show. We have equipment we have to keep updated, and we also have the professional level of StreamYard that we're paying for every month. And these guys and gals are helping us with that so very much. And they're getting stuff in return. They get to see sneak peeks at our work, as well as our weekly blog and other cool things. Some of them even got a copy of our new book, Snow Ambition, the brand new book available on Amazon for 99 cents, part of the Snow Short series. If you like crime drama, we've got you covered. But anyway, please check us out on Patreon and we do update it regularly. You can check us out. You can be my patron at www.patreon.com/Brian K. Morris. And I think that is it for this. And let's scroll down to where we need to be to get more stuff in. And please stay tuned. We've got, after we close the show, we've got a couple of spots we'll run for some friends of ours. We do that regularly so that you can keep apprised of all the cool stuff your friends here in Nevermorian are up to. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for hanging out. And again, we will not be here Wednesday morning because of my jury duty, but we will post as soon. It'll probably be late Wednesday night. I will know what's going on by then, and we will post to see whether we are going to be on the air on Friday morning. But otherwise, we're doing our civic duty. It's like voting. It is what you do to reward the land that has been so good to you. And plus, I figure if I get it done, I'm done for the year, and probably hopefully for a long time to come. And if nothing else, I'll wind up in some stories. Oh my gosh, I'm already seeing stories that can be done with this. It'll be so much fun. Anyway, oh my God, I just got hit with a story. I got to call Bobby. Anyway, this is what it's like being on the inside of my head. Story ideas all the time. But anyway, hope you have a great creative day. Hope you get through the 9 to 5. Hope you get some energy tonight when you get home and do something creative for yourself. Okay? Because it feels so good. So anyway, folks, thank you for being here. I appreciate you all more than you could understand. I hope you understand how much I do. Anyway, folks, have a fantastic Monday, and we will see you tomorrow night on Clever Tile Pinning with our special guest. Let me make sure I get who it is because I've got all kinds of people in mind. Running through my head. Anyway, Morgan S. Conmick will be back, and she's got a brand new book. We'll be talking about what it takes to release a brand new book when you're an indie author. And yes, honey, I see you in the doorway. I am just signing off. Oh, okay. Oh, cool. And she's my booth babe. Anyway, we're going to be signing off now because Cookie's here. And anyway, I love her, and I love you guys too. Have a great Monday. And we'll be talking to you tomorrow night on Clever Tile Pinning, and we'll keep you posted on what's happening after Wednesday. But until then, folks, in fact, even beyond then, stay smart, stay safe, wash your hands, and never apologize for being awesome. Have a great Monday, everyone. Take care. Thanks for watching Nevermind the Furthermore.
From author Brian K. Morris comes a classic hero in a high-flying, fast-paced, and action-packed steampunk adventure. The original Skyman battles the Master of Steam with an introduction by comics icon and historian Roy Thomas. A Rising Tide, an Ace Comics publication. Available now in print or digital format on Amazon.com.
Thank you for watching Nevermind the Furthermore, a Rising Tide broadcast network production. If you enjoyed any part of this show, please give it a like or a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Also, Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time on Nevermind the Furthermore.
This is the legend of the traveling TARDIS. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Also catch us on the HWWS Web TV YouTube channel. Subscribe today and become part of the legend.
Stormgate Press presents Pulp Reality 2. 10 new short stories from today's leading authors and illustrators in the new pulp genre. Packed with pirates, private eyes, aliens, automatons, villains, and vigilantes. High adventure, wondrous fantasy, mysterious horror, and startling science fiction await. Pick up a copy and be transported to astonishing places and travel to amazing times in the golden age pulp style. This is Pulp Reality 2. Available now on Amazon.com.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.